I welcome you guys all today. I understand it's a beautiful day. Is that correct? Or is it a beautiful day today? I understand it's a beautiful day. I understand there's somebody behind me beatboxing today. I understand that's very motivational. I understand I'm a motivational coach, so I'm here to motivate everybody and myself the most. I motivate you every single day. You just make sure to follow me for the next 72 years. You understand how I motivate you every single day. I've got 600 hours of content to give you right now to motivate you to greatness right now. Understand every single day that if you want to be great today, understand that's why you are here living life today. Understand that what you have to say right now, you have to say on the microphone or nothing at all. Understand I speak on the microphone only. Understand that either way I'm recording this nice and beautifully so I can understand something great right here. Understand it's called greatness. Understand every single day I speak on the camera. Understand I do a great performance. Understand that's why I'm a great individual. Understand that's why I'm always making sure that every single day I'm looking at the crowd. I'm making sure everybody has what they deserve. I understand to go and make sure that I speak more faster because I understand every single day that what's important is knowledge. I understand that anybody who has knowledge every single day is an individual who is ready to learn. I understand every single day they have knowledge. I realize they're going to get happier. I understand they're going to get much more empathy every single day. I understand that everybody needs motivation today. I realize if you don't need motivation, I realize that's why maybe you're dying today. I understand that I never need you to die. I need you to motivate yourself to greatness. So if you don't get some motivation from me today, I realize you have to go and get some motivation anyway because I'm very motivational. So make sure you follow me for the next 72 years and you understand why I'll motivate you to greatness every single day because I understand greatness is courage and courage is right now. So anybody who has the courage to do anything in life is a public speaker first. Otherwise, if you have no public speaking skills, then you have to match me. You have to understand that if you want to compete with other people, it's only that you look at yourself and compete with yourself every single day and understand to grow yourself. Because I'm not here to compete against you. I'm not here to hate you. I love everything in my life. Understand if you got something against me, you just come and follow me and understand why I grow so much every single day. I have no time for joints in my life. I have no time for drugs. I realize every single day, understand that's why I'm a sober individual every single day. I have no time for drug addicts who want me to smoke a joint either. You understand? So either way, understand I'm somebody who's very famous. You have to understand that I always have much more time in my life. Understand that I'm not a hater, you understand, because I never work a 9-to-5 job. I never work a 9-to-5 job in my life. You understand? Because I understand I work 24/7 now. You understand? I used to work a 9-to-5 job before, but guess what? I understand it's not the way. You understand? Understand that either way, I'm somebody who understands to do much better. You understand? I'm somebody who understands that 9-to-5 work is not the way to go. Understand that either way, that I was a laborer before, I was also a forklift driver, I was also a bartender, I was also a waiter, I was also a van driver, I was a towel cleaner, I was washing towels, I was doing laundry, I was cleaning places, I was cleaning floors, and guess what? I realized that's not the job for me. You understand? Because what the job for me is, I realize right now, is making sure that everybody has growth work in them, and that has Jesus work in them right now, which is what? Or as it's called information. So when I give information daily, understand that I'm always something much more. I understand that either way, I never need a crowd around me, I just need I. I just need I to do my work every single day. Understand that's what's important every single day. Understand that when somebody has more of a crowd than me, or else it's because why? Or else it's because I'm great, aren't I? Or else it's because I've got something to give every single day. Understand that's why I made them great. Understand? Because I'm somebody who's also great in life. Understand that either way, understand that people love to go where the great people are. So understand that you follow me every single day for the next 72 years and you understand why I'm great. Understand that if you don't follow me, or else that you'll also miss out on my information. Understand that I've got so much information to give you and your kids. You understand they're going to learn from me every single day. Understand every single day I'm always motivating people and individuals to greatness. Understand that's why if you don't believe in me, I never need you to believe in me. I believe in I every single day. I understand I deserve much better every single day. I'm always looking better. I'm always feeling better. I always have a nice, beautiful lifestyle every single day. I'm not a smoker. I'm not a drug addict. You understand? I never smoke cigarettes. I never do anything in terms of alcohol, drinking and all that because I used to do that. Understand? So anytime I see something that anytime I see something that somebody else has that I don't, I always do something that I understand that I have I. I have my knowledge I. In terms of my I intent. I love my I every single day and that's why I'm always much more famous. I understand that the world outside of me is not fair. I realize anything that's outside of me right now is you people. I realize that's not fair. You understand? Because guess what? I realize what's fair is I. You understand? Because I understand that you guys today maybe love somebody else more than me today. So guess what? I realize that's not fair. I understand that anybody who loves me equally, just as much as you love your kids, is somebody who is fair today. I understand that if you love your parents more than me, or else it's because you're jealous of me. I understand I love everybody equally. I'm only here to give some knowledge today. I understand that when I give some knowledge, I understand that's why I'm much more empathetic. I'm much more of a leader. I'm much more of somebody who has something to give. I never like to stand at doors all day long, like a security guard or something. I never like to just stand there and chuck rubbish in the bin or something. I realize that's not my job. You understand? I realize that everybody has some kind of job that they want to do. I realize that nobody's forcing you to do that 9-to-5 job. You understand? I realize nobody's forcing you to stand at the door all day your life. I realize all day in your life. You understand? So realize nobody's forcing you to throw rubbish in the bin. I realize that it's probably just understand that it's you who understands that you must understand more knowledge first. I realize more knowledge equals a better life. So anybody who has a better life are the ones who are public speakers, and are the ones who love leadership, and are the ones who never get into the 9-to-5 in the first place. I understand I worked a 9-to-5 before. I never have to work a 9-to-5 anymore. I understand because I'm doing much better than a 9-to-5. I'm doing something much greater. So you don't have to listen to me. I understand I listen to I every single day. I listen to Jesus. So if you realize if you wish to understand my information, I understand it's never going to hurt you, or else it's going to lift you every single day, because I understand the tonalities and tones that I give every single day, which is making you much more motivational today. Because you have to understand that when somebody can speak as fast as I can, you understand why I'm so motivational. Because I never need other people to validate me and my life and how I speak, because I can see how I speak. So I grow my speaking all the time. I never need you to grow me. I grow my I all the time. I always grow regardless of what happens today. I understand that I'm always deserving more because I grow more daily. I always have much more to give. I always have much more to understand. I understand everything in life, which is I. I just understand I. I understand I know I only. I know nothing else. I just know I. Understand? Because I is everything. Because anything that's not I is not God. Or else anything that's I is God. So understand that I is I love you. So when you have your I, you will understand what you are then. You understand you are your I. So when you increase your I daily, you'll understand how the ideas will come forth daily. I mean, it's going to be so easily noticeable that you understand that you must speak much faster and faster all the time throughout your life, because faster communication means faster ideas, and it means faster business, and it means faster money, and it means faster mindset, and it means faster everything in life. So make sure every single day you're looking towards yourself the most, and you understand why you're going to rely on yourself the most today. Because guess what? Understand that I make sure that I understand every single day that when I look at people, I look at who's valuable today. I understand that when I do that every single day, I thank you, sir. Whereas every single day, I'm always making sure I'm much more courageous. I'm making sure every single day I'm much more than yesterday. I understand that's why I'm always kinder as a human being. You understand? Because I understand my true heart and compassion today, which is making myself more privileged, in terms of much more privileging to understand that I can grow myself, because it's about my growth today. And then when it's about my growth, I realize it's about your growth today too. Because when I love myself, I love you even more. I understand that everything that happens outside of you right now is not fair. Or else it's not fair what's happening in the outside world. You understand? Because many animals are getting killed, or else they're putting you in a 9-to-5 job, or else they don't care about you, or else they're not feeding you any skills and knowledge today, except I'm giving you some nice, beautiful skills today. I'm caring about you today. I'm making sure every single day that everybody has some growth skills every single day, because I understand that's what's important. I understand that's why I'm a leadership coach. I understand that's why I'm a mentoring guru who actually coaches you how to be your own teacher. You understand? I coach you in ways that you have to understand that it's only you who must learn. You must learn, you must understand ideas, you must understand that every single day I do something very privileging, which is communication. Every single day I grow my heart out. I grow myself so much that nobody else can catch up to me. Because I'm not in a competition with you, I'm here to help you grow. Because that's why I grow daily. I grow on the street. I do a public speaking performance, which is a busking performance, and you can get one in terms of you can give $14 and come on the street and public speak, and you'll develop yourself. And I realize it's a nice, beautiful investment that I give $14 for 3 months, so that I understand I have 3 months of time to public speak on the street every single day to improve my communication skills and also my public speaking and my attention. You understand? Because it's for free. You understand? So either way, I realize life is for free. So I understand that everything is given freely. I realize if somebody doesn't want to give you free love, but they want money so that they give you free love, I realize that you have to go run away from them, because they're not in your best interest. I realize I'll give you free love. I'll never ask for money in return. You understand? Because I give you something for free. So if you want a business idea, if you want some skills, if you want something of courage and motivation, I mean, come and check out my YouTube channel, or come and speak to me right now, or else come and speak to me after my program or something like that. Although realize just to never wait for me. I mean, never wait for me. You have to understand, you got my Instagram, you can come and check out my suicide line and send people to me, please. I mean, send them to me. Or else whoever wants to cause suicide today, I've got Instagram. I mean, send it to me. I'll hope so. I'll save their life. I'm saving people's lives all the time with my information. So understand what my information products are. Understand it's confidence. Understand it's grace. Understand it's Jesus. Understand it's the Bible of God. Understand it's everything under the blue sun. You have to understand it's called information products. And when you're standing for information products, you're also standing for God. You're standing for something greater than you. So understand every single day, I go up on the street, I start to perform, I start to go and look at my crowd over here, or else I start to look at my crowd over here, understand who I'm up against. Although I'm never up against you, I'm just making sure I lift you. Understand, I'm never against anybody, because I'm always lifting. I understand that many people are against me, or else most people are against me because I public speak. You understand, because I'm something inspirational. So when I make sure that I understand that when I say I'm great, I see they may react in a certain way that's negative. So I understand that when that happens, I make sure to just keep growing, because I understand I never hit back anyway. I understand to never judge people's body language, but I understand to judge I only. I understand when I judge I know thyself every single day. I understand that's why I'm always free to deliver my information daily and free to understand my body language and how I communicate daily, because it's so important today that you communicate faster so you can adapt faster and become richer faster and become also spiritual faster, so that you can understand to help everybody faster, so you can understand to help your kids faster, and so that you can understand to learn faster and also adapt faster and also help everybody faster. You get it? And you have to understand that every single day I'm always developing myself. You have to understand, and every single day I'm always developing myself because I have greatness. I understand what greatness is. I understand it's my information. I understand it's how I dress. I understand it's how I look. I understand it's how my nose is. Or else my nose is great. Or else everything is great about me because my knowledge is great. Or else when I give you knowledge, I'm also doing something of courage. I'm also doing something motivational every single day. I always have something much more to say every single day. In a sense, so I'm always looking for some ideas. I'm always looking for a way to improve. I never follow anybody around. I only follow I and my Jesus around every single day. I have no time for anybody else. You understand? Because I understand that what's important is to understand that when you're following girls and guys around, or else are they helping you or not? Because if they're helping you get some shoes, or else that's not a high value task today. Or else to go cooking for shopping and stuff like that, you have to understand you have to go and learn some nutrition first and then go shopping. You understand? I mean, don't just go shopping because your dad told you to get you Coca-Cola. You understand? I mean, make sure you understand what you're eating. I mean, make sure you understand what you're reading. I mean, make sure you understand the people around you and who's giving value all day long. Otherwise, when I come here and practice my beautiful public speaking program, you have to understand that I'm also very much more alive. I understand I'm also a singer. Otherwise, when I sing, I sing with no tones. I sing with no music in the background first, so I can practice my lyrics. Otherwise, that way I understand to listen to my voice only without the music playing in the background. And then once I practice a bit in front of a crowd, public speaking and also my singing, in terms of without music, I understand then I put on my music and I start singing with my audio in terms of my soundtrack that I made. You understand? Because every single day I understand that where my money goes is how my business is. Whereas the more I give business, I apologize, whereas every single day, the more I give business, I understand to always do much better. I understand when I get hit, I apologize, but when they hit me, otherwise they never apologize. You understand? Because they don't believe in apologies. Whereas every single day, you just be careful when you hit somebody. I mean, just say I apologize, because when you hit me and you don't apologize, but I apologize while I'm looking that way, and you come from behind me to hit me, otherwise, and you don't apologize, I mean, come on. You understand? You have to understand to have a greater mindset. You have to understand to have a better opinion of yourself and be more high value of yourself. You understand? So realize either way that if I'm facing forwards and you come from behind me and hit me, and I apologize for that, and you don't apologize for hitting me, otherwise you look like an idiot. You understand? So either way, understand that is just what happened. Well, then guess what? Either way, I'm just doing much better. Either way, understand that when I get hit, otherwise I get hit much more, because it's not how hard you hit, otherwise it's how hard you can get hit and get back up. You understand? Otherwise that's what Sylvester Stallone says. So realize it's not how hard you can hit people, but how hard you can get hit and get back up every single day. You have to get back up, even when they hit you. You understand? So realize that's what Jesus always done in the Bible. You understand? And that's what is always happening today. You have to understand that either way, that what happens today is freedom. So anybody who has freedom today is what? Or else they're more of a God. You understand? Or else if you want to be more of a God, I need you to live forever young. I want to be forever young. You understand? You have to be forever young, baby. You have to understand that anybody who's old doesn't have freedom. Or else you don't go old. You don't grow old in life. You grow young. So if you want to grow young, you have to understand information products. It's going to help you every single day to motivate you. Because guess what? Or else what's my information today? Or else that is what you need. You understand? Or else that's a convincing product of something that is valuable. Or else it's something that is going to help you every single day. Because if you go on television, you watch a TV show, I'll motivate you more than a TV show ever will. You understand? Or else my TV show will motivate you more than any other one in the planet. You understand? Because my motivational technique is speak faster and give more. You understand? Well, that's my only motivational technique today, but I make sure I do it daily. I make sure I criticize I only. And when I criticize I do it much better than yesterday. I'm always making sure I love my life much better than yesterday, because I understand that's how I love thyself. I understand that's why I'm always a leader. I understand that's why I'm always leading people. I understand that's why I love to communicate and look at people and the crowd and their faces, and I like the smiles as well. Or smile at me when you look at me, please. Or when you understand, please, you understand to smile, because smiling is nice. And when you look at me seriously, you understand that it's not nice. Or understand that smiling is very nice for you to have. Whereas when you're smiling at people, you understand that it's always a pleasurable activity and it makes you happier. You understand? Because I like you to smile and not be serious. I need you to smile every day because it's nice. So thank you. I love you. I love you too. Whereas it's nice to have a smile in life. Otherwise, every single day, just be convincing of a smile every single day. Understand? It's so pleasurable to smile and to be happier. Otherwise, I see many serious faces today. Otherwise, understand that when you get grumpy and when you get angry, you have to remove the grumpiness, you have to remove the anger from your life. I need you to understand to be happy. I need you to understand jolly. And to be jolly is to be happy. And to be jolly is to be gay. Although understand, you never have to be transsexual, you never have to be gay, you just have to be happier. You understand? Otherwise gay is another word for happy. But guess what? You just make sure that you be better and better and better, because that's what a public speaker does. Otherwise, that's what a leadership module is. Otherwise, that's what public speaking in terms of planning skills does for you. Understand? So either way, I'm always doing it for I. Understand that when I go back to the I always have something to say daily, because I understand my module, which is growth. I understand when I grow, I'm always faster and faster about my communication, because I have to understand to focus on my words. But if I slow my communication down, I'd be looking more at you than myself. You understand? So you have to understand that anybody who's a slow learner is looking more at the crowd than themselves. I'm speaking much faster, so I never have to look at you, so I can look at what I have to say. You understand? Because when I speak faster, I'm always much more focused on my words when I'm speaking faster than talking slowly. Because anybody who talks slowly is always paying more attention to other people. I never pay attention. I'm never paying attention. I'm only giving attention. I'm only giving and I'm only investing. I'm never buying anything. I never buy you. I only invest in you. And when I invest in you, I invest my time into growing you. And when I do that, I grow myself. So if I go anywhere in life to go up to you, I go there to never waste my time. I go there to give you my business card, or I go there to lift you or give you an idea, and that's it. Or I come here to understand that no matter what, I'm going to grow either way, because I understand that when you need to grow daily, you understand why it's so much more of a blessing to do so, because you understand public speaking is the way. Whereas the way forward is understanding communication skills, so you can be a public speaker every single day, because that's what I'm doing every single day on the street. And I give $14 for 3 months of this. I give $14 to have 3 months of public speaking on the street, and I promote myself all day long. Whereas every single day, I'm always promoting myself every single day, but I understand that I will always gain results. I'm always getting results because I understand that either way, that with or without you, I get results. I get results either way. So either way, my life is much better, and those who never learn my information is what? Or as it's called in terms of life, understand I call it karma. Or as anybody who doesn't want my information, or as they straight away have karma in their life, because I understand that my information helps people. I say hello. Or as every single day I'm always public speaking, I'm understanding every single day to lead and make sure that every single day I have something more to give, because understand leadership modules every single day is fluency, and it's making sure that you're much more of everything in your life. Understand that when you're doing much better than yesterday, you're going to understand why you must do much better and better and better to understand a role model every single day, which is you. You must understand that you're a role model one way or another, or to understand that every single day what's important is public speaking. So get yourself a microphone and understand to start speaking on the street sometimes, and start practicing, because you never know that somebody in 10 years time may call you to come and lead somewhere, and then you're going to be prepared. You're going to be much more of a preparing type of individual in terms of life, because guess what, you're going to be somebody much more nicer in the volume of your life, and you're going to have a nice beautiful tone every single day, and you're going to understand that whatever's happening right now is happening for you. Understand? Because God gave you life, and the God that gives you life is the information in the Bible, because that's what saves your life every single day, and that's what helps me to understand how I can be a leader every single day through my communication, because I understand that when I have information to give, I also have a public speaking career. Whereas when I have a public speaking career daily, I understand that's why I have full of energy, and that's why I'm so passionate about veganism too, because it gives me so much energy to be able to public speak all day long, and it gives me so much energy to do 9-hour seminars every single day. I mean 9-hour seminars and more. I can do it. I can do it because I have the energy. I understand when I go and do anything that's productive, I'll go and get myself the energy for nutrients, because I study nutrients. I study what's on the label of every single can, and every single food packet, and every single anything that people are serving in terms of food and drink, and I ask exactly what is in it. Because I don't eat oil, I don't eat butter that's from cows and from animals. I don't eat that because it's very unhealthy and it's full of cholesterol. I don't eat anything that has cholesterol in it. I don't eat anything that has preservatives in it. I don't eat white sugar. I don't eat anything that's soft drink in terms of can, in terms of a Coca-Cola or Fanta or Sprite or KFC. I don't eat processed foods. I don't eat anything that's never good for eye. Understand? So I'm always staying away from processing foods in terms of processed foods. I'm always staying away from anything that's restaurant foods, because I never eat restaurant food. You understand? I never have to eat restaurant food to live my life. I can eat without that. I'm eating always plant protein. I'm eating high fiber food. I'm eating low fat food. You understand? I'm eating low sodium food. I'm eating also, and I realize I'm eating also plant food in terms of life, and I'm understanding more about what I eat every single day. You have to understand that GMS and GMO is just a food, I realize it's a food enhancer, but understand that you can eat it, although understand what you're eating every single day, either way, because everybody's different. I can eat GMS and gluten, I can eat gluten, I realize everybody else is different, but understand your metabolism. You have to understand your metabolism. I realize everybody is different, and it's not one size fits all, but veganism is always one size fits all. You understand me? I realize veganism is for everybody. I realize always. I understand every single time I go and lift people, I understand that's why I'm always much more of a courageous act. I always have much more to say. I understand that before I got here, in terms of before I came here, I understand I was walking here, and guess what? I was listening to my nice beautiful seminar that I done yesterday, and I uplift myself. I'm always making sure I'm motivating myself through my own audio. So I understand every single day I'm always learning something that I'm always giving, and that's my audio content. I'm learning about what I speak about all day long. I'm learning about how I live my life all day long. I'm learning about my habits and how to improve them every single day, because you have to improve your habits if you want to be great. Otherwise, if you want to be great, I mean, make sure that you're part of the social club and not the anti-social club. I mean, don't go where anti-social people are, because they are the heroin people. I mean, anybody who's heroin, I mean, they're still on the steps and they don't want to talk to you anymore. I mean, they're full of drugs on the steps, those heroin people. So guess what? I realize that's antisocial. You understand? So anybody who's antisocial in life is a drug addict. So stay away from them every single day, and don't go drinking beers with your colleagues. You understand? I mean, go get yourself a library card, like Jim Rohn says, and start reading something, because it's for free at the library. You understand? So you have no excuses, and you have also free Wi-Fi everywhere. I mean, everywhere is free Wi-Fi to go on Google and learn something. I mean, understand this. I mean, don't sign up to subscription programs like Spotify and YouTube Premium and SoundCloud. You understand? Because guess what? I realize if you're an individual who doesn't have a business about that, I mean, don't do it. Otherwise, I have a music business. I'd never ever go with Spotify. Otherwise, they're scamming everybody. You understand? I realize Spotify is scamming everybody. You understand? Because I never need them. Understand? I have my own music to listen to, and they post new music every single week. In terms of every single Monday is new music. Otherwise, either way, I never need that new music because I have my own music. I have my own music. Understand? I have my own music that I make. So I listen to my music because I'm a music producer too. I never need to listen to other people's music. Otherwise, either way, understand that when I go to a nightclub, I make sure that I'm the DJ at the nightclub. Or if I ever go to a festival again, I make sure I'm the DJ at the festival. You understand? Because otherwise it's not worth it. I realize it's not worth being with the crowd on the dance floor. You understand? I realize I am too good. I'm too good for the crowd. You understand? Although I'm never doing it for the crowd. I'm too good and I'm above the crowd. I'm always above the crowd because today I'm above the crowd too. I'm above the crowd. I'm somebody who's speaking and influencing much more than everybody here today. You understand? Because I'm here promoting my name. I'm here doing a street performance. I'm lifting people today. You understand? I've got more eyes on me today than you. You understand? Or there's more people looking at me today than there are you today. You understand? So I'm influencing more. I'm above the crowd. You understand? So I'm always looking for ways to improve myself and to be above the crowd all the time. You understand? Because I deserve the spotlight. I see the star up there. Or the star's right here. You understand? Or this is where stars are made. So if you want to be a star, I mean, come and do a street performance too. I mean, come and do a busking performance. And understand that if you know anything at all, you must know your eye, but nothing else. You understand? Because the eye is very important. And eye is integrity. And understand that eye is an idea. So if you don't have an eye in your life, you'll never have an idea and you'll never have integrity or your word. Because integrity is a word. And you must keep your word about what you say. Or else if you're a non-smoker and you say, never smoke cigarettes, I mean, never smoke cigarettes then, please. You understand? I mean, don't tell other people to smoke cigarettes when you are not smoking cigarettes. I mean, don't smoke cigarettes when you're telling other people not to smoke cigarettes. You understand? I mean, if you don't smoke cigarettes, I mean, say to other people, don't smoke cigarettes. You understand? Because that's why, or that's how you keep your word, and that's the way you understand you must live your life. So understand that if you understand anything in life, you understand that's the way, You understand? Because I understand I like it like that, Understand either way, I understand that's the Pizza Hut delivery kind of commercial going on, but I understand either way that I never eat pizza. I never eat pizza. I am away from pizza now for 2 years. I lost 14 kilos because of it. You understand? Or else that's all you have to do. Or else if you want to lose 7 kilos today, I mean, take away the pizza from your life. I mean, that's it. You understand? Or else if you want to help yourself get healthier, I mean, just remove the ice cream and the cake and remove the butter. And just understand that it's going to help you lose 10 kilos. Or else it's really simple. Or else I understand you remove the donuts and you remove anything that's lollies, because lollies is not good for your teeth and donuts is not good for you either. I mean, get away from the Krispy Kreme, cousin. You understand? Or else either way, you have to understand that no matter what you're doing today, you have to understand you speak nice, beautiful words every single day and never ever speak slang words. You have to understand that slang doesn't work. You understand? Or else slang is short for everything. I never need you to be a short type of individual. I need you to be long life. I never need you to go short. I never need you to use shortcuts. I need you to understand if you want to speak, you speak long words and not slang, because slang is short for everything. I need you to understand the long words are much better than slang. You understand? Otherwise, when you're speaking words, you speak the longest words possible. Otherwise, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. I mean, those kind of words. I mean, go above and beyond with it. Whereas every single day, I have to make sure I stay on top of my vocabulary every single day, because vocabulary is how I speak. Otherwise, that the more I can increase my vocabulary daily, understand that's how I actually go and connect all the dots. I connect all my context together, which is my success. Understand that when I have more abbreviations to give you, I can make more metaphors, I can make more similes, I can make more alliteration. Understand that when Peter Pan pickled a piker, you understand? I realize that's called alliteration. You understand? Either way, understand that a simile is called a cousin of an adverb. You understand? Or that's called an abbreviation. Or anything that's an adverb is a verb. Or anything that's a verb is an adjective. You understand? Or then when I describe you today, or you're doing something, I just gave you an adjective. You understand? Or anybody who has some grammar today or knowledge about grammar and skills understands that all adjectives and grammar and locations of your heart is in the moment. Or it's in the moment. Or everything is in the moment today. So understand that you never look like the next guy. I never need you to look like the next woman. I never need you to do anything like the next person does. I need you to go do what is original every single day. I need you to understand originality is the way. I never need you to copycat people. I need you to understand I never copycat anybody about that. I'm never copycatting anybody about this. I I never copycat people about this program today. Or else this is original content. I'm giving original content today because I'm an original. Or else there's nobody else like Danny Milivojevic. You understand? Because guess what? I never love to be the same as anybody else. I love to be different. Although guess what? I realize my name is not really Danny Milivojevic. I realize my name is not really Danny Milivojevic. I go by Danny Milivojevic. You understand? I realize my name is I. I value my I more than my name. Whereas now my name is my I. Although I value myself more than I. You understand? I'm always going back to my I every single day. I'm always making sure that what's important today is that I get my content into YouTube today so that I understand I can keep consistent with my beautiful work every single day. Because anything that disturbs my work is something that I never do. I never go where I may get disturbed by other people. I stay alone all the time. I make sure I'm always alone. I make sure I'm always doing something that's really much more. I'm always making sure that what happens every single day is I make sure I'm always doing better and better and better. Because I understand I believe in a better world. And when I believe in a better world, I go to teach. I preach the gospel of Jesus Christ every single day. And it's just love yourself. Because that's the gospel of Jesus Christ. I mean, just believe in yourself and love yourself and just make sure you're teaching. I mean, that's how simple the word of God is. Otherwise, it's just called make sure you're developing yourself and you're making sure that you're being better than yesterday every single day. Because that's what I do all the time. I'm always making sure I'm doing something much more courageous every single day, like public speaking, and I'm making sure I'm always leading the crowd. I'm always doing something that's very important daily because I understand that's how I really love to live my life. I understand when I live my life daily, I'm living it for something greater than I. I'm always doing it for an idea. Or else when I do it for an idea, I give an idea. I give an idea. Through every sentence, I'm giving an idea because I understand that's how I really develop my skills daily. I develop my skills through different orientation. And what kind of orientation? I realize through different techniques and strategies and business skills. Whereas now, when I plan different mechanisms of my life, I understand I make new habits of strategies where I can understand to go and influence with coherency, because anything that's coherency today is a leadership quality. In a sense, so if you want to be coherent, you have to learn and grow. In a sense, you have to understand that you have to lose nothing but gain more. In a sense, so if you're losing nothing, you understand that you're learning more. Or else if you're learning more, you have to teach more. You understand? Your approach, the more you learn, the more you'll teach. So understand that Jesus only came into this world to teach. You understand? And anything that's around Jesus is reading. You understand? So realize that the world around you is always trying to influence you, or trying to de-influence you. You understand? So realize always to be more influencing. You understand? Or else never ever go negative, and never be or else always be making sure that you're definitive. Or else you must be making sure that you're definitive about your life in a way that you're never uninfluencing other people. You understand? You have to make sure you're a positive role model, because anybody who's demotivating today is not an influencer. Because somebody who influences you is a motivational coach or speaker about something that you love to do, and they do it great, or else they're great in that kind of field. So that's why I'm always standing for life. I'm a life coach. I clarify my life in something better. I understand that when I teach life, I teach it all over again, every single seminar, of every single day, of every single moment. I do a new video in a different way, and I'm always making sure I'm always leading in a different way, because I understand what a better world is. I understand it's public speaking. I understand it's $1 billion in wisdom. You understand? Whereas now $1 billion in plastic money is not nothing. Whereas now, you have to understand that $1 billion in plastic money is nothing, but guess what? Whereas $1 billion in wisdom is much more than plastic money. You understand? Otherwise, that $1 billion in wisdom is much more than cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So anybody who can go and teach how to make $1 billion is one who can actually achieve it. Otherwise, if you want to make $1 billion, but you never want to teach your way there, otherwise you'll never make it then. You have to teach your way to $1 billion. You have to teach your way to $1 trillion. Otherwise, that it's all in the teaching of life. Otherwise, it's called your best version. So anything that's $1 billion today is a best version today. Or else they're the best individuals in the planet. Or else they're leading the world through everything. You understand? Because that's $1 billion. Or else this look, in terms of how I look today, is my best version. Or else that's $1 billion. Or else this is $1 trillion and more. Understand? Because everything in life is health. And understand, health is wealth. So anybody who goes for plastic money never has wealth and never has health. You understand? First, you don't make wealth and health through plastic money. You make health and wealth through teaching how to make health and wealth. It's about teaching your life every single day. Understand that when you're teaching your life every single day, you get up on the street and you understand to give a story daily, and you understand that way it's going to lead one way or another. You understand? Whereas that when you're teaching your life every single day, you understand that's why you're going to be free much more to live your life in daily life in a greater way, because a greater fashion equals something of equality. And when you're equal with everybody, you understand how to love everybody equally, and you understand that's the only equation of life, which is love everybody equally and be equal with everybody. I'm not above you, you are not above me. You understand? I'm not below you, you are not below me. You get it? Or else we're equal. Or else me and you are equal. So understand that when I grow you, I am just making sure that I lift I. Understand, when I lift I every single day, I'm always doing greater with my attitude. And my attitude is gratitude. And my gratitude is my altitude. And my altitude is making sure that everybody grows. You understand? Or else now when everybody grows, or else that's fluency. Or else anybody that grows in fluency is making sure that they become a leader. So I give you that idea and make sure you hold it and make sure you brainstorm it. You brainstorm the idea there and understand to make a metaphor and teach it. I mean, you have to go inside a YouTube program today and understand you make your own channel because it's your own TV show. And understand that I have over 600 hours now of videos that you can go and watch because it's my YouTube channel. Understand? Because in 12 years time, I'll have 10,000 videos. Understand? And in 20 years time, I'll have 20,000 videos. You get it? Because that's how you develop. You develop yourself every single day and making sure you're always courageous every single day to make sure that you're always making sure that you understand you're doing kind acts of courage every single day. And then you understand that anything that's kind is making sure you understand your nutrition every single day and understand how you're really going to make it much better for yourself. You understand? Because when you make it much better for yourself, you always learn how to grow. You learn how to do much better. You learn the skills and techniques and the abilities to be able to work in what you love to do every single day. Understand? Thank you very much. Or else every single day, I love you too. Understand? Or else every single day that I don't know what this means. I don't know what that means. I understand something that I know I though. I never judge what this means. I don't know what this means. Or else it's not a root finger. Understand? It's not a root finger. Or else it's not a middle finger either. Or else it's just a word. Understand? Or else I'm a word of I only. Understand? I although understand that every single day that if you got something to say on the microphone, I mean come and please say, or let's come and please say it, and come and speak with me all the time. Understand either way that I'm always a nice, beautiful attitude all the time. You understand? Or is that either way that most people get offended about this, I don't know what this is. Or is that when people know what this is, or that's when they get offended and that's when they try to cause you violence. You understand? So realize that's what happened with me and Cairns. I pointed the middle finger at them and they believe they know what that is. You understand? I realize that somebody told them it's a rude aspect of life to point the middle finger. You understand? Or else it's not a rude aspect of life to point the rude, or else it's not a rude aspect of life to point the middle finger at somebody and at you. You understand? Or else you have to understand that the middle finger is just the middle finger. You understand? Or else it's nothing that's hurting you. You understand? Or else I never slapped you, I never hit you with the middle finger. You understand? So realize either way, they never be assaulted by anybody, and I'm never assaulting anybody anyway. But understand that you never get assaulted and you never be assaulting to anybody. Because anybody that wants to be loving needs to understand that assaulting others is called growth. So when you're assaulting people, make sure you're influencing them to grow only and never touch the other person in terms of the divine being, because I understand that assaulting is another word for making sure that we can be positive in ourselves to grow. And when we're growing together, we never have to go kill other people. I mean, make sure you're assaulting like Jesus Christ does. You understand? I mean, go assault like he does, and go be violent like Jesus. Go be violent like Jesus. Go be violent like Jesus Christ today. I mean, how is Jesus Christ violent today? I mean, go be violent like Jesus Christ. You understand that is the beautiful way to understand to go live like Jesus Christ, and you understand to never be violent. Because I understand this. I understand that every single day I'm always growing everything in my being to understand my I. I understand that when I grow my being, I'm forcefully getting myself into a public speaking events such as today, and I'm making sure I create an event and make sure that every single day that I post it up on YouTube so that I can help people for the long run. Because I understand the long run is why I'm here. I'm here for a long journey, because a long journey is something that helps. Whereas anything that's short, you have to understand, is something that looks like Avicii, for example. Or the guy died at 28, or the guy died at 28 years of age. Or they understand that I need you to live to 100 years of age. You understand? Or else I never die early. I'm never dying at 28. I'm never dying at an early death. You understand? Because I understand that if I die early, or else I never die early. You understand? I love Avicii. Understand that I never need you to end your life like he does. Or else I never need you to end your life like he does. You understand? So either way, understand and learn from Avicii how to live life. You understand? Because understand that he has a great career at 28 years of age. And guess what? You have to understand that it's just beginning. You understand? Although understand that I respect him with my heart in terms of how he does his music. You have to understand either way. You have to learn quick. You have to learn because even if you have fame, you can commit suicide easily. Understand? So realize that you never commit suicide, and then I am here for you every single day to motivate you. But guess what? You must learn from people's deaths, and how they die is how you must learn. You must learn that if somebody else is dying in one way, you must never do that kind of way. You must never do what somebody else is doing who's dying, because you need to go where the growers are. You need to go do what people are doing in terms of growth to understand how you can actually influence every single day. You have to understand every single day you have to do much better to follow influencers of somebody who understands information that can help you to better your life with health and everything, because that's what everything is every single day. Understand that no matter what, understand that those people who never love information are the ones that never love to grow. So understand to grow yourself, and understand that anything that's influencing people to grow today is growing. Understand that when I live to today, I'm always much more successful because I am on the offense about life. I understand I have no time for a 9 to 5 job. I have no time for that. I probably understand that you have no time for a 9 to 5 job. You have to understand, I need you to understand that you have no time for a 9 to 5 job either. You have to understand that 9 to 5 job is not your type of guru. You understand? Whereas that your guru is you. So understand that you must work 24/7 today, and you must work 168 hours a week and more about yourself, rather than a 9 to 5 job. I mean, you don't start work at 7 o'clock in the morning and finish at 5. You start when you wake up, and you finish work when you fall asleep. And then when you're sleeping, you're still working anyway. Because guess what? You have to understand that sleep is also work. So when you get enough sleep, you understand that it's the best mental health aspect of the world, to understand that any type of amazing sleep today is enough sleep. Whereas if you're eating something in terms of food and drink, you have enough of it. You don't overindulge in food. You don't overindulge in sleep. You understand? You have enough of sleep. You have enough of food and drink. You understand? So when you're doing anything in terms of growth, you overindulge in growth. You do growth as much as you can, because growth is happiness. So the more you can grow, and the more you can understand to moan in growth, you understand that's why we live much better. Understand? Because anything that's moaning in growth today is understanding they grow people. I'm always moaning my growth out, because when I grow with you, I understand to go and lift you inside. I understand to go and show you the direction every single day, to understand that what's inside today is much more important than what's outside. I understand that when I'm inside daily, I'm always making sure that my heart is giving you what you need, and that's called information. You need information, man. You have to understand that every single day, information is something very beautiful every single day. I understand every single day, I'm always making sure that what's important is my love. So when I have more love to give, I understand that's why I go and be more courageous, because that's why I'm always much more of a heart. Or else anything that's much more of a heart today has more fragrance to give you. And what is fragrance? Or else it's called information. Or else fragrance is information. So understand that when you're giving more of a refreshing feel, you're actually giving more wisdom and courage and motivation. You're looking at people, you're understanding how they twerk their language. And when they're twerking their language, I realize they're moving their hips and their head and their eyes. I realize they're moving their arms and their legs. I realize they're moving their body. And everybody's going at their own pace. I realize I'm going at my own pace too. But I'm very fast. I'm very fast to speak. I'm very fast to influence. I'm very fast to be interesting, much more than yesterday. I understand that when I continue to do my work daily, I always have much more of an influencing aspect of my life, because I'm here for I today. I'm here to grow I. So when I grow I today, I understand that's why I'm always leading everything into greatness, because that's where I'm going. I understand when I'm going to greatness, I understand that's why I'm always great. I understand that's why I never need a woman to tell me that I'm great. I never need a woman or anybody else to tell me that I'm something more in life. You understand? I just understand to tell it of myself, and to give it of myself, to understand that I have what I need in I. You understand? I realize when somebody has what I don't, I realize I have everything. I understand I have I. I have I. I realize I is everything. I over you. Whereas if you have a woman that's very sexy, I have I though. I have life in me. You understand? I have something very great in my eye. I never need your woman. I never need what you have. I never need your kids either. Understand that I'm always lifting myself. You understand? I'm always lifting my heart out. Because my legacy is what you need. You understand? You need something great every single day. But guess what? My legacy is growing right now. Whereas my legacy is growing, I promise you. So in the long run, you need my legacy, I promise you. I promise you that I have 600 hours of video content that's actually proving that my legacy is so great today. Understand? Although I have to continue my journey and I have to also learn how to grow my legacy, which is just grow the information product. Whereas when I grow the information product, you understand Nikola Tesla and how he grows his information products, and how Albert Einstein grows his information products, and how Jesus Christ performs his Bible, which is information products, and why their legacies are great. You understand? Because that's how my information is great too. Whereas now, because my information is great, I'm also great. Because I'm providing that every single day. I'm providing a greater way of life. I'm providing a greater way of life for myself in I, so that I can live life. And then you come and pick up the skills and ideas and techniques from me. Because guess what? If you don't want to, you'll go and do that for somebody else then. And I promise you that you need an idea either way. You have to understand that my ideas are better than anybody else's. Understand? I promise you, I'll give you my ideas for free. Understand? I never charge you, but you may go to an audio book in terms of audible.com and get yourself a book, and you may give money. I give you the same quality of information inside of my YouTube. You understand? So realize that most people are charging for their work in terms of money, or else they're working for money. I'm not working for money, or else I am the most affordable life coach on the planet. Because I understand that when you guys are trying to kick me down, I'm trying to lift myself up. Otherwise, when I'm trying to lift myself up, I lift all of you up, even though you're trying to kick me down. Understand? So either way, I'm never getting myself kicked down, because I never kick I down. I lift my eye up every single day. I lift my fragrance. I lift my beautiful, rigid mind in a better growth manner, because I'm never weak. Although I understand that my rigid mind is strong. Understand? I'm never my weaknesses. I'm something greater, because anything that I call myself is my I. Whereas everything that I am is my I. Whereas now I'm very strong, because I understand who I am. I understand that my rigid heart is I, and I is everything. Whereas now my I is very strong, because my I can be rigid, and my I now can understand that I'm still growing my I, aren't I? Because my I can never be weak. I can say that I'm weak, but guess what? I'm I over weak. You understand? So I'm something much more than what I am, because I go back to the I. And either way, understand that I'm always lifting, because understand that everybody here is strong and never rigid and never weak. But understand that if you even call yourself weak or rigid, you understand to go back to the I. And you understand that the I can never be rigid, and the I can never be weak. But also the I can be weak, and the I can be rigid. Although when you increase the I, in terms of the I promise you that is never weak, is it? I promise you that's something strong, even though it can be called weak. Although I'm never weak. I understand either way to go and use positive words anyway. But you can use negative words upon yourself, and you can say that I am I though. You can say I am I can understand that I can never die. Understand? Although understand to talk positively either way, because it's a much better fluency to understand that positive words create better worlds. Promise you, either way, you cannot have positivity without negativity. Understand? Although understand that either way, that life is I. I understand I is something great. But anything that's negative and positive must be I. Understand? I realize that when I use my I realize now we're God. Understand? I realize now we're both aspects, but we're just the I, because we're simplifying the goods and the bads of life into one section, which is I. I realize the I for idea. I for I love you. I realize now that's something even more. I realize when I teach with grace, I teach with leadership, I teach with something great, because I understand that I have an excellence attitude, I have an excellence program here, because that's something that teaches you and encourages you every single day to grow up. And anybody that grows up today is a writer, and they're writing audio and writing materials in terms of video and audio and writing, in terms of journaling every single day. I understand that every single day I'm always lifting myself to greatness. Understand? Because I believe in that. I believe in a better world. I believe in something much greater. So I do it in front of people every single day. I practice every single day. I understand that either way, that with or without the crowd, I can practice. You understand? I can practice somewhere else. So if somebody comes here to a street performance and takes my spot here, you understand that it's a free zone anyway. I'll go somewhere else without you people, and I'll go motivate on my YouTube channel, and you come and join me. You understand? Because either way, I always am doing my work, and nothing can stop my work. I'm always completing my work much better. I'm always doing my habits much better, because I understand habits is life, and habits is destiny. And who has a better destiny in life has better habits. So understand to have a greater attitude, and you understand Jesus Christ. Understand Jesus Christ has the best attitude on the planet, because I understand that Jesus Christ also deserves your life too. You understand? Otherwise, I understand that Jesus Christ deserves what you have today. I understand that because of Jesus Christ, you live a life. You understand? I'm not sure that either way, I understand Jesus Christ deserves everything I have in life. Because Jesus Christ helped me, and He's always helping me to grow. You understand? So I always look for that courage in Jesus Christ, because I understand that's how I although lead every single day. I lead for Jesus Christ material and His Bible, and also understanding that it's my Bible today too, because I complete it in a better way. I go and transcribe the Bible into new information products, so that everybody can go and transcribe my information product into another information product. And that is generating more income and more revenue and more business for everybody. Because in information, there's always business. There's always business in information. Because anybody who studies information products today is somebody who's improving themselves. They're a scientist about it. I'm a scientist about life. I love everything. So I'm always learning about everything. I love to be a scientist, and I like to dissect the information. I like to learn from every single piece of knowledge in the planet, so that I can go and put it into a video, so that you can have it, and so that I can help your kids, and kids for generations. And to help you also, because you have to understand that you must put yourself first, I must put myself first too, so that we both must be equal in one. Understand? Because if you put yourself second and I put myself first, you are then not my equal. But I consider you my equal all the time, but you don't think so. You understand? So never think so, but think in the moments every single day. Thank you. Otherwise, every single day, I understand that if you believe you're number 2 in your life, otherwise that's why you don't love me. Otherwise, that I love you because I'm number 1 in my life. But if I put myself as number 2, otherwise then I will never love you. Otherwise then I'd hate you. But I never hate you because I love you, because I'm number 1 in my life. Whereas that way I'm always putting myself first. I always have much more of an influence every single day. I'm making sure every single day I have something to say. I have more to give every single day, because I understand this is what you must do. You must do this every single day. You must public speak all the time. You must be a great aspect of life all the time. You have to understand that no matter what, that motivation is key. Do you agree? You have to agree that motivation is key every single day. You have to inspire daily, and you have to understand to have a big heart and to learn and grow and prosper yourself all the time, and understand to have a big rose in your heart. That's always happiness, and understand every single day to grow yourself. Otherwise, anything that grows themselves is always looking at the nice beautiful camera in front of you, and you understand to look at yourself in the mirror and say I have a dream today. I have a dream that no matter what, I make sure that everybody has what they deserve every single day, and that's called information. Otherwise, information is gold. Otherwise, information is silver. Otherwise, information is a commodity. Otherwise, information is a tree. Otherwise, information is a tile there that you're stepping on. Otherwise, an information product is you. I'm an information product because I always have a business. I have a business, so everything has a business today, because we're all information. Otherwise, information makes the world, because that's what the Bible is. Otherwise, the Bible is information. Because without the Bible's information, otherwise, how are you going to lead yourself? I mean, how are you going to lead without the Bible? I mean, you need the Bible's information, don't you? You need to understand Jesus' story, don't you? Because without Jesus' story, I mean, how are you going to have His story then? You understand? You need His story to inspire yourself. So understand, I'm always inspiring people to understand Jesus Christ and to understand my story and your story if you come and give it. Otherwise, you have to come and give your story first to understand it. You understand? So I'm always looking for a new way of improvement every single day, but I make sure that I understand something, that nobody complains about my skills. You understand? Because my skills are something great. I understand that when I have great skills, I'm always growing with and without your criticisms. But make sure you understand that you never criticize me, but criticize yourself only. And understand to just judge yourself. You have to understand that when you judge yourself, you'll be self-critical. And when you're self-critical in life, you understand to self-reflect, because that's what self-critical nature does. Whereas anything that's self-reflective upon their life is self-aware and self-critical every single day. So when you're a critical type of individual, you're going to grow. Otherwise, anything that's critical thinking in the moment is understanding that's why they grow, because understand power. Otherwise, power is the Bible. Otherwise, power is information. Otherwise, power is this audio program, because it's going to lift you. Otherwise, it's going to inspire you. Otherwise, it inspires me every single day in my eye, because I understand that I over me. I understand my eye is much more important than me and myself and anything else in life. Understand? Because I always grows. I grow my eye in terms of my eye fragment. Otherwise, my eye fragment is culture and tradition, in a way that I'm growing everything around me, because I understand that's why I grow. I understand that's why I have a nice, beautiful perspective every single day to focus on my life and my life coaching. And I understand that's why I always breathe what I do. I breathe in my life. I breathe in my life force. I give my life force in my information. I come and do my work daily, because I understand I never need the 9 to 5 to do my work, because my 9 to 5 work is my 24/7 work, and I 24/7 myself into greatness. You understand? I realize every single day I'm always great, because I understand that 7 days a week and 365 days a year and 10 decades from now, I'm better than yesterday, and more so all the time. I'm always much better, because I look to develop myself today. I look to have a greater vision today. I look to make sure that I better myself today, because I understand that I can never do it tomorrow. I can never do it in the past. I can only do it now, and now is everything. Otherwise, I can always do everything. I can do anything in my life, but I do it now only, because I never have to be in the past. I never have to be in the future, but I see the past and future now. I see my life experience right now, so I live my life right now, and that's why I'm public speaking right now. I'm not doing the public speaking in the future, I'm doing it now. I'm not doing my public speaking event in the past, I'm doing it now. In a sense, so realize everything now happens for a reason, and that reason must be growth daily. You must grow your heart out. You must understand that when you grow, you'll also be fascinated in a way that you're fascinating, because understand Jim Rohn. Otherwise, that when Jim Rohn goes and drives a car, otherwise he's very fascinated about his life. Otherwise, he's very much saying so. You have to understand either way that when he drives his car, he's saying that's fascinating about how people do life. I mean, that's fascinating about how they drive, don't they? Otherwise, that's fascinating about how the cup may fall on the seats. Otherwise, that's fascinating about how I may drive the car at this nice, beautiful local restaurant, and then I may see that happen. I mean, that's fascinating that the car has a scratch. I mean, that's fascinating that I dressed this way today. I mean, it's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, it's fascinating that I came here today and dressed like this, in terms of how I dress. Otherwise, it's fascinating in terms of how I dress today. Otherwise, it's fascinating in terms of how you walk. Otherwise, it's interesting to see how you're doing that today. Otherwise, it's interesting to see what you're wearing today. Understand? I'm very interesting in life. I'm very interesting, you understand? I'm very curious about your life today. I'm very curious about what you have today to do. I'm very curious about how you're lifting yourself today. You understand? Because I understand something. I understand Jim Rohn. I understand that when you're fascinating in life, you're always going to be asking about what's fascinating today. I mean, what's so fascinating? I mean, what's so interesting about this? I mean, what's so interesting? I mean, let me understand. What's so interesting about you? I mean, I'm always interesting. You have to be more interesting all the time. I'm always asking the questions. I mean, what's so interesting about you guys today? I mean, what's so good about you? You understand? Because I'm always fascinating, aren't I? You understand? Because anything that's fascinating is asking questions. You have to understand that is Jim Rohn driving a car. You understand? So either way, understand that Jim Rohn says that you must drive a car but have audio while you drive. And when you read audio, I mean, have a university program going on like this. In terms of this audio program, I mean, put it in your car and drive your car to it. I mean, drive a car and understand to listen to an audio program that's going to help your life. I mean, when you're walking somewhere, I mean, have an audio program just playing around in the background, so you can understand to listen to something as you clean and as you walk somewhere and as you shop and as you do something. Because you have to be always reading positive material if you want to be a positive type of individual who's a guru, who's a teacher, in terms of who's a teacher in your life. But understand that everybody's a teacher and guru. You have to understand that ego is here right now. So when your ego is here, you have no ego. You have to understand that ego can never live in the moment. But anybody who's a teacher and guru today understands to lift their life to the moment. Understand? Because understand this. Understand that when Zig Ziglar says, oh boy, I mean, look at that redhead. You have to understand that means that he's interested in something. You understand? Whereas when you're interested in something, you're going to say, look at that. I love it. I understand it. I understand that I will make sure that I go and grow it. You're going to talk about it all day long. because that's what positive individuals do. And they talk about everything. You have to talk about life. You have to talk about anything that you have today, and what's most important in your life is what you must do. I realize if you're not talking about yourself all day long, I realize then you're talking about other people. And if you're talking about other people, I realize that's called gossip. And anybody who's gossiping and talking about other people other than themselves is number 2 in their life. So I never put myself as number 2. I talk about myself all day long. And how do I do it? I do it in my journal every single day. I talk about myself all day long. I talk about the world events around myself in my journal. I have a nice beautiful dictionary also in my journal, but I make sure that I understand that Anne Frank, for example, who is in the World War I, and she wrote a nice beautiful journal that helps me today to understand the past of her life and how the past is right now, although she writes a journal and understand the actual World War I theory and how the World War I was back then in her journal. Because I understand that I realize that she writes on a journal. And now that journal is 70 years of age. You understand? So realize, either way, that I can understand how that life was because of a journal. But understand that in 50 million years time, you're going to watch me. And you're going to understand how my life is in 50 million years. You understand? Because I'm writing a journal, aren't I? And here I am as a millennial, and I'm a millennial. In a sense, so I'm at the beginning of the internet age in life. In a sense, so I'm a beginning influencer of the internet. In a sense, I'm something at the beginning of the internet. Yes, because the internet's been around for 30 years. I mean, understand Hercules days. I mean, there was no internet. I mean, there was no buses. There was no shopping centers. I mean, there was no big toilets. I mean, there was no JB Hi-Fi. You understand? I mean, there was no technology to help you. I mean, there was no technology. I mean, there was camels. You understand? I mean, there was no bikes back in Hercules days. I mean, come on. You have to understand that all they had was a writing piece of material. I mean, they had a pen. I mean, they had something to write on. I mean, they had some paper. You understand? And guess what? You have to understand that either way, that is how it was. Although now it's something different, isn't it? Whereas we've got phones, or whereas we've got technology, whereas we've got internet, whereas I can go look at women all day long now. You understand? I can just go on the internet and look at women all day long. You understand? I realized back in Hercules days and Jesus days, I realized they didn't have that. You understand? So be much more privileging to understand, to start understanding that internet is something that is just now. Whereas it's a new age. Whereas it's something new. You understand? To realize that many people take this for granted. Whereas they take it for granted that the internet's today. And they believe they don't have to do it. You have to do internet today. You have to do social media. You have to understand that influencing somebody today is what you must do. Because anybody who's an influencer is somebody who is a social media type of fanatic. So understand to be a fanatic about social media and start understanding to grow yourself daily. I mean, start to learn how to grow. So when I learn how to grow, I have to be fascinating. I have to ask myself fascinating questions. I have to ask myself great questions so I can be a great individual. You understand? I understand that every single day I learn and grow. I motivate people. I motivate people all day long because that's how I practiced. I practice in front of the crowd now. I understand that when I started this first course, I have 251 courses in my How To series, and I have another 30 courses in terms of my busking courses. Although I realize I have over 600 hours of video content. You understand? Whereas I understand either way that I'm something much more. But guess what? I realize now, every single day, I do 1 hour programs. You understand? And then anything extra is on top. Although I realize over the next 10 years, I have 3,000 hours and more of video content. And then in 20 years time, it's 7,000 hours. And in 30 years time, I realize it's 10,000 hours. You understand? So I'm always making sure that I can do this at 100 years of age. I can public speak at 120 years of age, easily. In a sense, so I'm always developing. I'm always teaching people how to live life much greater so that I can have all this some information of knowledge that Danny Milivojevic gave you. In a sense, so Danny Milivojevic is I. So I simplify my name into I, because I is everything. I realize if you label the tree, I mean the tree is called I. I mean you are I. I mean what else? I mean the tiles. I mean the tile and the tiles is I. You understand? Because I simplify every single word and name that I may label about something, which is I. You understand? I realize everything is I, because I grows. I realize I grows. So if I say that's a bike, I realize that's not a bike. I realize that's I. I realize that's I. I realize your kids are I. You understand? I realize anything that I label, I must go simplify into my I. Or else that's a carriage, or else that's a eye, or else a carriage is I. You understand? Or else that's a shoe, or else that shoe is I. You understand? I am the shoe. You understand? I am the shoe in I. You understand? Because I simplify every single word that I may label something with into my I. Because I understand it's not about what I label other than I. Or else I is much more important than what you label. You understand? So label your I only and make sure that everything is defined under the I premium. Understand? Which is the I going. In terms of which is the I goer. I everything. I am something much more because I come back to the I and then I always lead with my I. I understand that when I simplify every single word in the dictionary, I mean, how many labels do you have in life? I mean, how many aspects of life can you label? I mean, there's only one aspect of life that you can label. You can only label the I. Because that's never judge others, never judge others, judge yourself. So to judge anything in life is to judge I only. So to judge I is to understand that you must not label anything other than I. Because only judge I, because anything else that you label, I realize if you say that's a heel, I realize now you became the heel. You understand? And now you're looking for a heel. And now you're going to go and shop for a heel because you labeled it a heel. I mean, what's a heel? I mean, do you understand a heel in terms of what women wear? In terms of the heel? I mean, if you say that's a heel, I mean, you go look for one and you go buy one. And you never go and buy one, you just invest in it. But guess what? You never invest in a heel. You invest in yourself. You invest in an I. Or else that heel is I. So I just simplified in terms of I'm simplifying that heel as I. Or else now anything that you label other than I is what you have today. So realize that my biological dad is very materialistic in life. And anything that's materialistic is outside world. So he'll say that's an air condition. Or else now, because he said that, or else he'll go get himself an air condition. Or else now, this is what I do. Or else I see that's an air condition, but that air condition is I. Or else now, I'll never go get an air condition because I understand what's more valuable. I understand it's I and not the air condition. You understand? And that's why he's always full of couches in his house. Because he calls that couch a couch. Or else that's not a couch. Or else that's I. And that's why I never need a couch. I just need I. You understand? Or else now, what else can you label in life? Or else a TV. Or else if you say that's a TV, or else that's why you're going to go get one. Or else if you understand the TV is I, or else that's why you never get one. In terms of the TV. You understand? Because you get I. I is even better. Or else if your parents go and say that is a lawnmower, or else that means they need one. Or else that means they have to go get themselves a lawnmower in life. Or else if you just go to your parents and say that's not a lawnmower, or else that lawnmower, you have to say that lawnmower is I. Or else now you understand that you just taught them to never get themselves a lawnmower because I is much more important than lawnmower. Why do you need a lawnmower to go public speak around the world? Why? If you understand anything in life, you understand to never label anything other than yourself, which is I. I understand that Jesus says, don't cut your eye out. I understand I is everything. So when you understand that you're always lifting yourself in the moment, you understand that it's not a phone. Or that's not a phone. Or that phone is I. Understand? Because I understand what's much more valuable. Understand? Or that when you're labeling, for example, anything in life in terms of what they have, you have to understand that what they have is I. You understand? And that way you never lack. You never lack your I. Understand? Because if you understand that you see people, for example, I realize they may go and say that individual has a woman and they don't. Although, guess what? This is what I say. Or else that individual has a woman, but I have I. You understand? I have I though. Or else now the other individual goes, that man has a woman, and he doesn't. Or else now he's lacking a woman because he doesn't have his I. You understand? But guess what I say? I say that man has a woman, but I have I. Or else now, am I lacking a woman? I'm not lacking a woman because I have I. You understand? Because I is much more important. Or else now, if you understand that some individual might go and that woman, or else that woman has a kid, and she may say that she doesn't. Understand? Or else now she's lacking a kid because she looks at somebody else who has a kid, and she says that she doesn't have a kid. And now she's lacking because she said that she doesn't have a kid. Or else now I go and I step in and I say, that woman has a kid, but that kid is I. Or else now, or else am I lacking? Or else I'm not lacking. How can I lack my I? or else without the eye, or else then I'd be lacking. But where is the woman's eye here? Or else she goes and says the same thing in terms of a different way. And she says, that woman has a kid, but she doesn't. Or else she ended with the doesn't words. You understand? I ended with my eye. Or else now I say, that woman has a kid, but I have I. Because the world starts with I and ends with I. And now understand this, that when the world starts with I and ends with I never lack. You understand? But if the world starts with I and then ends with doesn't, or else now you're lacking your I. You get it? So understand the nice beautiful communication signal here, which is the woman must say, that woman has a kid, but I have I. You understand? You understand? You have to understand that if she doesn't even start with the I, or else she'll say, doesn't the woman have a kid? Or else now, that's a question. Or else now you can start any question without the I, because it makes sense. But if you start saying anything other than that, you understand that a woman may say anything other than the I, or else now if you understand to never use anything other than the I, you understand to never die. Or to understand to just use your I always. So understand it's just that type of signal, that the world starts with you and ends with you. And the world starts with I and ends with I. Because if I say, or else if she says, that woman has a plastic bag, but she doesn't. Or else she's lacking a plastic bag. But if I say, and I say, that woman has a plastic bag, but that plastic bag is I. Or else now I'm not lacking. I'm not lacking my I here. You understand? But she's lacking because she says, that woman has a plastic bag, but she doesn't. Or else now because she doesn't have one, or else she's going to get herself a plastic bag. Or else now I say, that woman has a plastic bag, but I have I. I now never have to get the plastic bag. In a sense, to realize there's a big difference in how you communicate daily. So understand that what they have is I. And that's that. You understand? Because everything you have in life is I. You understand? Or else I never lack now. I never lack. I mean, whatever you have in life right now is I. Or else I never lack what you have now. Because I have I in my life. You understand? But if somebody says, you have all of that, but they don't, or else they're lacking everything you do. Or else now I go and I say, I understand what you have, I understand you have I. I understand I never lack what you have now. I understand I know my I. I know the I symbolization. I understand that Jesus says don't cut your eye out. So understand to never cut your eye out. So understand this, that the world starts with I and ends with I. Understand? Or else the world starts with I and ends with I. But if anything other than what Jesus said comes true, you understand that there is nothing else. You understand? You understand this. You understand that other people may start like this, and they may say, I, and then finish off with the doesn't. But guess what? Or else if the world starts with I, and then finishes with another word that isn't I, you understand that they are lacking. You understand? Or else they're lacking because they're not finishing off with their I. You understand? But if I start with the world in terms of I, and then finish with my I never lack in the first place. Because I still have my I. So anybody who's lacking in life doesn't have their I. So that's why Jesus says, don't cut your eye out. Or else now, or else if somebody starts with the word I, and then finishes with doesn't, or else that goes against Jesus. And says that they are finishing with anything else other than their I. And that's why they're lacking. And that's why they're suffering. Understand? Because they're not finishing the last word with the I. Understand? So that's why Jesus says don't cut your eye out. And when he says that, you must understand, you start the first word with the I and finish with the I. So you never lack in the first place. But remember the I, because you must never forget it. Because anything that forgets the I is lacking. You understand? So every single day, understand that whatever you have today is what I have in terms of I. You understand? I never lack what you have. And that's why I'm so rich and abundant. I'm always rich and abundant when I live my life. I understand I always have much more to give. I'm always much more pleasant. I always have a much more of a succeeding heart. I'm always much more graceful. I'm much more of somebody who's much more empathetic every single day. I'm always making sure I'm looking at the crowd around me. Understand, I always have something inside of my YouTube channel. You can go and check it out every single day. I can always teach your kids. I can teach them something. So understand I'm always a positive role model like this. I understand I always have something much more beautiful to say every single day because I understand my I. I understand that what you have today is my I. I understand I lack nothing. I understand the crowd has so much aspects of life. But all that I have is I. Understand? And that's why I never lack. I never lack what you have, because all you have is I. I understand that's why I have something much better, which is my eye. I focus on my eye and not what I realize. I focus on my eye and not on what I have. Understand? Because that's how I really live life. I live life to the fullest. I live life making sure I'm in freedom. I make life much more. I make life making sure that I live to the fullest all the time. Because I understand my eye. I understand the eye simplification. Understand? Because anything that I label with my words is my eye. I understand that anything that's a baby carriage is I. I understand that I never need a baby carriage. I never need anything other than I. Understand? And realize that's what Jesus says. Realize Jesus says, you may have all the women of the world, but Jesus has I. You understand? Realize Jesus has I. Realize Jesus has I, and I is everything. I mean, how can you give yourself with no I? You can never give anything without the I. Realize I is life. I have life, just like you. I have everything you have. I have everything you have, and I have I. Understand? Because I is everything. I have everything that you have now. You may have a kid or something. I have I too. Understand? I mean, you have an Xbox. I have I. I understand that Xbox is I. I understand I never need an Xbox in the first place. I understand that whatever you have today is what I don't need. Because I just have I. Understand? I don't need what you have today. I don't need what you want today. I don't need your dreams. I understand my I. Understand? I understand that whatever you want in terms of your vision, I already have it in my eye. I understand that I never need what you have today. I never need what you want. I never need your desires. I never need anything that is blissful to you. I never need anything that you find beautiful, because I have I. You get it? I have I already, because my I is something already right now, and it's what is. So anything that you are becoming to envision in terms of plastic money, or a woman, or a man, or some sex with other people, whatever, I already have that. I have it in my eye. I already have, because I am not lacking anything in my eye today. Understand? I realize if you have a vision today to succeed in a greater fashion, or to have a movie star role, or to have a vision of some kind, and you want to achieve something today, I already have it in my eye. Understand? Because I never lack what you want in life. I have it right now in my eye. Understand? So understand that. You must also understand that. To speak it out every single day and to teach it. Because every single day, understand communication skills is a gift. So anybody who can communicate daily is what I have all the time. I always have my eye. I have my eye. Understand either way, they understand that I am not transsexual, or they understand I'm also not gay, I'm not bisexual either. But guess what? I understand that's why I'm growing. Understand? Because I choose my lifestyle every single day. As everybody chooses their lifestyle. I understand either way, I understand that what I have today is I have my eye. Because my eye is everything. So understand that what I am not is my what? Whereas everything that I am is my eye. I'm nothing else other than my eye. And that's that. I'm never lacking. You understand? I'm never lacking my eye ability. I understand that my communication skills every single day exist for a reason. I understand it helps me to succeed every single day. To understand that's why I came here into my world today. To understand my eye conclusion, which is I. I understand I have no conclusion today. I understand that my life is a gift every single day. I understand that's why something so amazing every single day happens with my eye. I understand that's why I increase my eye capacity every single day. I call it the I factor. I call it something amazing, which is the I. I is everything. I always come back to that I always make sure I teach it. I understand to preach it. I understand that's the gospel of Jesus Christ. Because Jesus Christ lacks nothing. Because Jesus Christ has I. Otherwise, whatever you have is Jesus in terms of what Jesus has. Because Jesus has I. You understand? Whereas whatever you have in terms of experience is what Jesus has right now in the I. Because Jesus and God doesn't lack I. You understand? I is everything. Whereas now, I always simplify my I to make sure that whatever you have is in my I right now. You understand? Because that way I understand to grow, I understand to be more, I understand to go and be more delicious. I understand when I be more delicious in life, I give you more of what you need. I give you a nice, beautiful smell every single day. I give you a nice, beautiful perfume. I give you a nice, beautiful look. I give you a nice, beautiful car. I give you a nice, beautiful Mazda. I give you a nice, beautiful Mercedes-Benz. Because it's in my knowledge every single day. I give you gold. I give you silver. I give you some plastic money. Understand? I give you everything because it's in my wisdom. Understand? I realize it's in the Jesus Bible. Understand? I realize anything out there is what I have already. I have all the skills to give you, or I always have all the skills in my God, who is I, every single day. Understand? So understand this, that everything in life is I. Understand? That's why I'm always lifting I. Understand? I'm always talking I. Understand? I never regret nothing because my I. Understand? I have no regrets. I have no regrets today. I have my I. I have my I today. Understand? That's why I'm always much more of a sequence. Understand? My sequence is I. Understand that anything that increases the I capacity will survive much greater. Understand? So if you're surviving, I mean, just go and thrive over survive. And you understand the I much better. You understand that anything that's surviving is like a homeless person. Understand? But guess what? Nobody's a person because everybody's I. But understand, anything that's thriving in life is somebody who has an I. Understand? Or else anybody who's surviving in life doesn't have an I. Understand? So realize that anybody who has no I is not really living. So have your I. I mean, have confidence. I mean, have ability in your skills and believe in yourself all the time. Because that's what the Bible is. Because the Bible means believe in thyself. And believe in your I all the time. Because your I perspective is gold. Understand? Or else gold is I. Understand? So understand every single day to go and always elaborate on my I. Because that's the richest talk on the planet. And that's what you need every single day. You need the I for greatness. You have to understand that for greatness is I. You have to understand that every time you speak, you always must do much greater. You must feel much greater. You must understand that what you have is what I have in my I. I understand I lack nothing anymore because my pure contentment is my I. I understand that's why I teach it right now. Although I understand that either way, I teach it a different way every single time so that people can get it. And so that people can understand the transcription of the Bible right here, which is I. What is the Bible? I mean, the Bible is I. You get it? Because I is everything. I mean, that's the whole Bible. I mean, if you want to simplify the Bible into one word, and the one word is I. You understand? Because I is God, and God is I. You understand? Because the whole Bible and the whole dictionary, in terms of the words, that's the most important, is I. I is the most important word. You understand? I. I mean, if you want to learn anything in life, I mean, just learn the I. You understand? I mean, know I. I mean, know thyself. And to know thyself is to know I. You understand? So learn I every single day and use it in your public speaking programs like I am today. And how many times did I use my I principle today? Otherwise, the more you can increase your I and end with the I and use the you and finish with the you and use the question, you understand the IUQ rule. You understand how I speak. You understand that sometimes I start with the you and end with the you too. Because it's also I. Understand? You understand that when I say you, I grow you and that's why I grow I. Understand? Whereas when I go you, I go I. Understand? I understand either way that the you is I. Understand? Whereas anything that's you is I. Whereas I is everything. Although don't cut your eye out, is what Jesus says. And understand that's what you must do daily. I never cut the eye out. I put it every single word that I say in my beautiful communication, and I make sure to rhythm in it. I make sure I never lack a word. I never lack a sentence. I never lack what I say. I always speak. I preach it every single day because I am it in a way that I am I. I understand to go and simplify every single word in the Bible and dictionary and life itself in terms of communication because I understand what's important. I understand it's making sure that I'm greater. I'm making sure I'm always greater. You must understand greatness. You must understand to be greater every single day. You have to understand that everything that's great is I. I leads into greatness. Understand? So I'm always making sure I'm always that type of individual. But understand to come motivate yourself daily in I. Because if you don't, or how are you going to really live life? You have to understand the I principle. Or if you want to convince anything, you convince them of I. Or if you want to sell anything, you convince them of the I. Or else you do that for free. You do it for I. Understand? You do it for something that's amazing. Or else you understand that everything that's simplified in terms of simplification is I. Or else I understand that's why I go and simplify my words in terms of my life. So I understand that's why I have an excellent attitude, because an excellent attitude is simplifying in terms of simplifying into I all the time. Because I is more important than KFC. I is more important than pizza. I is more important than drug addicts. You understand? So when when I is more important than drug addicts, I never go to the drug addicts. I is more important than you, so I never go your way. I is more important than anything else out there because I never go that way. I go I. You understand? I over my biological mother. I over my biological dad. I over your kid. I over you. I over the sky. I over everything. You understand? I choose my priority, which is I. So it's either one way or another. I over you. You understand? I over what you have. And that's that. I mean, whatever you have, I pick I. I mean, what do you have today in terms of your life? I mean, what kind of richness do you have? I mean, whatever you have today, I pick I over you. I pick I in my life over your life. I choose my life over your life. You understand? Because that's how I live my life. I understand that's why I never lack. I understand that no matter how good looking your woman is, man, I have I. I have I. I have something great over here. I have I. I understand that what's great in my life is I. I understand I already have a beautiful woman in my eye. Understand? I have everything in my eye. I understand that all my kids and all my beautiful production of this world is in my eye. I understand that's why I know thyself. I understand now I can really live life. I understand when you know your eye, you understand that's why you can live life, and you can live it fully, and you can live it from the beginning, and there's no end. I have no end. You understand? I have no end. I only have a beginning. You understand? I realize this is the beginning. I realize this is not the end. I'm just beginning. I mean, how can my life end right now? Or I have to begin it right now. I have to begin my life all the time. I have to always do something according to my life all the time. I have to understand that there's always something more to do every single day. I realize it's my I. I understand I is everything. So I, your life out. I, everything. I say I. Understand? Because I live for something greater every single day. I live for the I principle. I live for a greater quality of life because I understand that's how I really communicate in a different way all day long. I understand that's why I'm always different communication skills. I'm always different in my weight class in terms of what I give. You understand? I'm always different in terms of how much I give you because I understand my nice beautiful gestures here today. I understand that my gestures are different all the time. I understand that when I give you a nice beautiful gesture every single day, I'm always speaking in a different manner. I'm always doing something in a different mannerism. I'm always making sure I'm a simplification. You understand? I realize anything that's crucifixion is I. You understand? I realize I never die. You understand? I understand that when I attract something, I attract I only. I mean, what's happening for me in the future? I mean, what's happening for me in the past? I mean, what's happening in your life today? I is happening. I understand. I realize that where you're going today is I mean, wherever you're going today is I mean, where are you going next? You're going I. You understand? I mean, where are you going next? I is where you go next. I mean, what's happening right now? I mean, what's happening up there? I mean, what's happening with the dog today? I mean, I is happening with the dog. You understand? I is everything. I mean, any kind of question you have, I mean, the answer is I mean, every single answer in the world that you have in life is I mean, any kind of question you have today, you can solve it right now. You can say I mean, what kind of question do you need to solve? I mean, it's I already. I mean, do you love her? I love her. You understand? You say, I love her. You understand? I mean, how else are you supposed to start your sentence? I mean, if somebody asks you, do you love her? You say, I love her. I mean, you're going to say, you love her? You say, I love her. You get it? You understand? So either way, I realize, just make sure you're using your I today. You have to use your I. You have to understand, you have to be abbreviation today. You have to understand I capacity every single day is make sure you're living life in the I day. Or else make sure every single day you're looking at yourself, and today is understanding I. Understand I never fall for anybody else because I have my I never fall in love with anybody else except for I. Understand? Because anything else that I may fall in love with is the ego. Because anything else that's not I is the ego. Otherwise, if I love something else more than my I, that's why you improve your communication skills. And that's why you have to understand that when you get smarter, you improve your communication skills, and you understand the I. And it's I over the pigeon, and it's I over the phone, and it's I over Samsung. Otherwise, I love the word iPhone. iPhone, because iPhone means I becomes before the phone. Understand? Because iPhone, I love the word iPhone. I mean, Samsung is just Samsung. I mean, where's the I? I mean, Samsung. Because I is much more important than Samsung. You understand? So anybody who's missing the I completely is ones who are suffering. Or else anybody who is a one, in terms of ones, you have to understand, is I. I'm only a number one. I'm only a one in my life. So when I go one, I understand one is I. And that's all the simplification you have to understand. So every single number under the planet and in the blue sky is I. You understand? Because I is number one. You understand? Because number one is the most important number. And when you simplify I in number one, you understand I'm number I. You understand? I'm number I. I'm only I. So understand to simplify numbers with your I. Or, I mean, what number are you today, sir? You have to be I only. You have to be I. You understand? I is everything. I mean, I is better than number one. You understand? I love you. You never say one love you. I love you. I love you. I speaks much more than numbers. You understand? Because Jesus didn't say, don't cut your one out. I mean, Jesus says, don't cut your I out. I is number one. I is much better than number one. Because you can speak without numbers today. Although I is everything. I is numbers already. You understand? So every single day, I understand that those who never have an I today are the ones who are lacking. Or as they're lacking their I in many areas. I mean, they may love a pizza more than themselves. I mean, how does that work out? I mean, because they're lacking I. I mean, they believe they lack a pizza, so they go for eat. They go to eat pizza then. You understand? Otherwise, I say I'm much more important than a pizza, so I never go to eat the pizza. I now love myself more. I love thyself more because I never have to eat a pizza anymore. I love thyself, and I'm more disciplined about my I. Otherwise, another individual will say that the pizza is more important than themselves. So they go and eat the pizza. You understand? And then they become fat. Because the pizza is more important. You understand? Because where's the discipline there? I mean, there's no discipline when you have no I. I am better than the pizza, so that's why I'll never get fat. You understand? I am better than the alcohol, so I'll never drink alcohol. Otherwise, other people love alcohol more than themselves. So that's why they die of disease. And that's why they die of cancer. And that's why they look fat. You understand? Because they drink alcohol and do cigarettes and do drugs. And they believe that's what's more important. You understand? I realize either way, I understand that either way. I understand that I never do drugs. Because I over drugs. I love I more than drugs. I love I more than alcohol. I love I more than you. So when I love I more than you, I'll never go where you go. I'll never go and follow you. I'll never go anywhere else other than I. You understand? Because I is much more. You understand? Whereas now, if you have something to give me, whereas now you have to understand that if you want to promote my I, I'll be with you. You understand? Whereas if you want to promote my I, I'll be with you. But if not, whereas I have something better to do. I have my I. You understand? I over everything. So anything that's suffering today, I say I over suffering. I am much more important than suffering. I become disciplined. I become disciplined in the way that I teach the I intent. I teach the I integrity. I teach the I idea. I'm much better than the pets. You understand? Because I over pets. I love I more than the pets. I love I more than the woman you're walking with today. I love I more than how she dresses. I love I more than your hair. I love I more than everything. You understand? Because that's my I worth. I mean, that's self-worth and that's confidence. I love I more than what you're carrying. I love I more than who you're walking with today. I love I more than you today. I love I. I love I. So if you want to bash me because of that, come and get me then. And come and get I. And so realize this, that many people get offended when I love my I more than them. And so then guess what happens? I realize they start killing people. Understand? I realize that it's more, you have to understand that those people who went with Jesus and who were devastating Jesus, you have to understand that Jesus is never devastated. I mean, how can Jesus suffer when Jesus has I? I mean, Jesus is never suffering in his life. Even when they're whipping him, and even when they're killing him, and even when they are crucifying him. Because Jesus understands I. Or Jesus didn't say, Father, forgive them for what they not do. Or Jesus says, I forgive my Father, all of these people, for they not know what they do. I mean, Jesus didn't start, Father, forgive them. I mean, Jesus started with the I. I mean, Jesus said, Father, forgive them. I forgive them. I mean, Jesus didn't say, Father, forgive them. I mean, Jesus didn't say Father with the I, in terms of without the I. Understand? Or there's anything else that is said in terms of that Jesus said, Father, forgive them first without the I, is a liar. You understand? Because Jesus said, I, Father, forgive them. I, Father, forgive them. I mean, Jesus started with the I first. I mean, you don't say to your Father, Father, forgive them. You don't say that. You say, I, Father, forgive them. I forgive them, Father, because they don't know what they do. I forgive them. I mean, who else is going to forgive them but I? I mean, nobody else can forgive them except you. You understand? So realize that when you see a quote without the I, understand that when I write my quotes, I write sometimes without the I. Although I understand that I always have my I in place. So what I do is I may say, I will write this. And then I say, I go and I write it. You understand? Although I have my I still. You understand? And the I doesn't show up as the first word in my quotes. Although I still have my I. You get it? You can still write like that. You can write, the totem pole of this nice beautiful nutrient is delicious. I realize that you can just write with the. Although understand that I sometimes go in my quotes and I say, I see that the totem pole of the nice beautiful nutrient is delicious. I say, you see as well. I start with my quotes and I say, you see. You see the totem pole of the nice beautiful delicious quality of my life. You understand? Because I understand how to start my language. I can start it with anything. You understand? Although I have to have my I. You understand? I have to have my you. I have to have the you perspective. I have to have a question. I have to have always something to say every single day. I understand that's why I always have my I perspective. I always go and never cut my I, because anything else is not efficient and it's not effective and it's always lacking. I understand that whatever you have today in terms of that, I always have it much greater in I. I have I already. I have something that's really going to help develop I every single day. I can understand it's I develop I do everything for I. I'm always much more quality. I'm always much more than yesterday. I'm always doing something that's really going to help me move forward. So I understand that when I look at what's happening around me in terms of my I understand it's not me, or it's I understand I over me. I understand that's why I simplify all my words together into I understand the most important word in the Bible, in the dictionary, is I mean, where are you going next? I mean, where? I mean, I'm going to I understand I is the answer. I understand that anywhere where you're going today is I mean, there's nothing important other than I today. I understand that's why I'm always developing myself in a different way. I understand that's why I'm always different in my ability. I'm always doing something different every single day. I understand that's why there's always more to say and there's more to do daily, because I understand that when you repeat the I, you can always repeat language in the I. You can always repeat the same aspect of the truth in the same way all the time. You can do it. You can do it in the same way, because you never cut the I, you never cut the you never cut the question. You can ask the same questions all the time. How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? I mean, the truth stays the same. How are you? How are you? How are you? I can always repeat that. I can always repeat the question. How are you today? How are you today? I never touch other people. I thank you. I thank you. I love you. I love you. Whereas every single day, I can always say questions. I can always say questions, you understand? I can always ask the same questions. I can say, I love you. 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 I mean, the truth stays the same, doesn't it? I mean, what is the truth? I love you 50 million times. I can repeat it. You understand? I love you. 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 Because my I is very important. I mean, if you say love you and love you and love you, I realize now, you have to understand, you have to realize this, that if you say love you and love you and love you, you have to understand, you have to put the and there. Whereas if you have no and with the love you, I mean, you fall into ego straight away. So realize anything that's no ego starts with love you first, and then love you first, and then love you first. I realize that you never say love you first, you say I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. You never say love you, and then love you again, and then love you again. You understand? You never die like that. So never even try to do it. You understand? Because I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Makes sense. But nothing else other than that sequence makes sense. I love you is the best way to say it. So anything else is ego. You get it? You don't say it in any type of other way. I love you is the best sequence. You understand? I love you has more I's in it. I love you, 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 I love you. And there's nothing else that's going to replace that. Or else that's the best way to say I love you. You understand? Or else there's no other way to say I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. You understand? Or else it's just I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you, 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 I love you. You understand? Because it's easy to say I love you. Whereas anybody who has any hurt or suffering to say I love you is somebody who doesn't love you. You understand? Because they don't love themselves. Understand this. Or you just have to say I love you. I love you. Just say I love you. Anybody who has some hurt in them, you understand, I realize they're lacking communication skills to say I love you. How stupid is that? It's so stupid. Although, understand that what's stupid is I. You understand? I understand that every single day, when I go back to my I can never be stupid. You understand? So, either way, understand that anybody who's lacking the I will never say I love you. They'll just say love you. Where's the I? I love you. And it's not love you. It's I love you. You understand? Because I is much more important. But if somebody writes without the I realize they do not understand how to communicate. Because I is how you communicate. You use the I language. You use the I motive. You use the I fiction. You use the I fictional. You use the I complicational. You understand? Because anything that's complicated today is I. I is the most complex word in the planet. Whereas I is the most simple word in the planet. I is the most negative word in the planet. I is also the most positive word in the planet. I is the dog. I is the bird. I is a bird. I is a dog. I is everything. You can label everything and every single blue star that you see in life, in terms of the galaxy, in terms of Mars. You can label it in I every single day, and you understand why I is so important. I is also dangerous. I is also graceful. I is also truthful. I is everything. You understand? You can label everything with the I, because I is everything that never dies. You understand? If you label anything else and you connect any other words with any other words, you're missing the point completely. You understand? Because what the other words must comprehend is that they must have an I. So be the one who's always connecting the words together with the I the most. And connect the words together just with that. And anything else that has an I can go into confidence, is courage, and that. You understand? Because understand that a full sentence with one I that starts first, you can label and connect other words together. But understand that I can always say I is red, I is blue, I is purple, I is pink. You understand? Because I can label I as every single word in the dictionary. What's an adjective? I. What's a grammatical way to say fictional? I. What's the most beautiful, delicious star in the world? I. What's the best metaphor that you could ever exist in the planet? I. What is the most amazing waterfall that you've ever seen in life? I. What is the main ingredient of the nice, beautiful, complex theory of the blue sun, which is the galaxy behind the stars? I is the answer. I. What is the most simplification? What is the most simplification and crucifixion type of novel in the world that exists in a way that I understand that can go in terms of powerful ways of communication in terms of life? I is the answer. I. Otherwise, anything that is a question today is I. If you want to understand the meaning of anything, it's I. What is the meaning of life? I. I love you. I. What is the actual example of life? I is the example of life. I. How do I improve myself today? I. I is how you improve. You just improve I. You see, her. You see, her. You have to understand that anything else is a lie. How do you make sure to make $1 billion? I. I is the answer. I is the answer. How do you make sure that your kids have a great life? I. I is the answer for that. I. If you have any type of question in the world, just answer it as I. How do you make sure that you have the best muscles in the world? I. I. I is the best muscles in the world. I is the best muscle. You get it? How do you understand that a tree will never fall? I never fall. I understand I never fall. How do I understand to never go in the outside world? I never have to go in the outside world. I stays inside. I mean, how do I make sure that when I push the trolley, that I never hurt myself? I mean, look at I, and not the trolley. I mean, how do I make sure that I make the best conversation with somebody else? I mean, start with the I first. I mean, how do I make sure that I understand that whatever question somebody wants me to give, I give it much greater? I mean, start with the I first. I mean, how do I understand that when I go and live a life where other people are fat around me, and I have to go and improve, and they are ugly, and I am not in terms of ugly? I mean, how do I make sure that everybody else is more beautiful then? I is the answer. I mean, you start you make sure to improve your I mean, make sure to improve yourself is the answer. I first. I mean, stop focusing on them and start focusing on yourself. I is everything. Otherwise, when you focus on the I, you focus on yourself daily. You understand? Otherwise, I understand that when there's another question in terms of how do I quit drugs? I mean, just say I love I more than drugs. I mean, that's how you quit drugs. I mean, how do I quit alcohol? I love myself in terms of my I more than the drugs and the alcohol. I love I more than the drugs in terms of alcohol. I love I more than alcohol. I pick I over the alcohol. I mean, is that simple to quit drugs? I mean, how do I quit heroin? I love I more than heroin. I mean, that's it. I love I mean, how do I save more money? I mean, make sure that you understand your I completely. I mean, I is more money than ever. I is everything. You understand? I mean, I is more important than plastic money. I mean, how do I make sure that I have all the materialistic aspects of the world, and I have a Ferrari, and I have the movie cinema of the world, and I have all the theme parks, and I have the scratchies, and I have the lottos? I is the answer. You understand that I is much more important than what you want. I is much more important than your dreams. I is much more important than your vision. I is much more important than the world. I mean, how do I travel to the stars of the galaxy behind the moon of the Jupiter in life? I is much more important than Jupiter in life. I is much more important than Jupiter. I is much more important than the galaxy. I stick with I, please. I stick with I. I stick with I today. I mean, how do I make sure that when I walk, that my girlfriend walks faster? I understand that I is much more important than my girlfriend. I is the answer. You understand? I mean, why do you want your girlfriend to walk faster? I mean, just go with yourself. I mean, I is more important than her. You understand? I mean, how do I make sure that my husband always watches the TV with me? I mean, just go watch the TV with yourself. I mean, just focus on yourself more than your husband. I is everything. You understand? I mean, how do I make sure that I make a speedy recovery? I mean, focus on yourself and not other people. I is everything. I mean, how do I make sure that I get 2 beautiful women today? I love I more than them. I never need to chase them. I love I mean, how do I get sex with other people? I love I more than sex with other people. You understand discipline? You understand what discipline is? I love I more than sex with other people. I never need sex with other people. I have I. I mean, how do I get the best clothes in the planet? I have I. I is my best clothing in my life. I is everything. I have the best clothing in my eye. I mean, how do I make sure that I get her to kiss me? I never need her to kiss me. I never need her to kiss me in life. I love I more than her kiss. I mean, how do I make sure that my son comes and drives me somewhere? I is the answer. I never need my son to drive me somewhere. I take responsibility. You understand? I is the answer. I understand. I love I more than my drum. I love I more than my son driving me somewhere. I have more discipline to understand I can get myself somewhere without my son. I mean, how do I make sure that I have the best phone in the planet? I is much more important than the phone. I is much more important than the phone today. I understand every single day you have a question, I is the answer. I mean, go and simplify your life. I mean, so simple. I mean, how do I make sure that I'm the best soccer player on the planet? I is the answer. I mean, go and focus on your I and understand to just focus on yourself and how you do it. I mean, how do I make sure to produce music? I mean, how do I produce music? I mean, start with you first. I mean, who else is going to produce music for you? I mean, how do I make sure to come and do a public speaking program on the street? I mean, just make sure you go and do it. I starts first. Because nobody else is going to do it for you. I came here. I focus on myself to get here. I mean, how do I stay present in the moment? I just focus on my I focus on my I focus on who I am. I focus on my I is who I am, which is my I mean, that's how I stay in the present moment. I stay in my I love I know I mean, how do I make sure that I stay away from, how do I make sure that I stay away from the chicken? I love I more than the chicken. I love I more than the chicken. I mean, how do I make sure that everybody else is driving I? I drive I. I never need other people to drive I. I never need others to drive I. I can drive I. I can do I. I mean, how do I make sure that I can do the best skills of the planet? I first. I first. I is how you do all the skills. I is the answer. I mean, how do I make sure that I can go and lead with grace and go and communicate in the best way and make sure that no matter what, I can be a public speaker and do anything possible? I is the answer. I can do anything. I can do anything. I mean, how do I make sure to get out of the 9 to 5 job? I can do it. I can do it. I can do anything. I mean, other people will not get you out of the 9 to 5 job. I will. I mean, the I that you say is going to do it for you. You understand? I have full responsibility. I mean, how do I make sure I look like a fashion model? I mean, start with the I first. I mean, start with you. I mean, start with you first. I mean, how do I make sure that any answer that I have in life, in terms of what I want to give and say and do, and also ask questions, I mean, how do I do that? I mean, just ask questions and give questions and give answers. I is everything. I have questions, I have answers. I mean, that's how you do it. I understand that any type of question you have in the planet, you can do with I. You understand? I mean, how do I make $1 billion in plastic money? I am worth more than $1 billion in plastic money. I is everything. I is much more than plastic money. You understand where the plastic money is? You understand that plastic money is in the I. I is everything. You're not worth plastic money, you're worth I. You're worth I today. I understand every single day I have my I much more, I'm always much greater. I mean, how do I make sure that my girlfriends love me? I is the answer. I understand that I never need my girlfriends to love me in terms of my I. I understand that I never need you to love me. I mean, how do I make sure that I get this woman today? I love I more than her. I love I more than her. I'll never chase her in my life. I mean, how do I get this woman here? I mean, how do I get her today? I get her today with my I never have to chase her in my life. You understand? I never lack her. I love my I more than her. I love myself in terms of my I more than her. You understand? I never have to chase her. I have everything already in my I. I mean, how do I grab your wife today and have her for my I today? I is the answer. I never need her in my life. You get it? I never need your wife. I don't lack your wife. I have my I today. I mean, how do I make sure that I have everything I need? I is the answer. I love I have everything right now. Yes, answer every single day. I make sure that I'm always answering I'm always giving I understand that's the only answer and solution of life, which is I understand that's how I do. I realize that's how I do my life. I understand that's how I live my life. I understand either way. I understand the question of life is I understand that's how I really live and go into the moments of my life to go and succeed, and that's how I answer all my questions. Now, or else any answer or question that I have in my life, I answer with my I. Or else I is the answer for everything. I mean, that's how simple life is. I mean, you can answer life itself with I. And just stick to that. And that's how you become rich. And that's how you become abundant. And that's how you prosper and become a self-teaching guru. You start to teach yourself from that point. You start to teach yourself from the I perspective on how to make common sense with your I. I mean, how do I make common sense? I. I is the answer. I start first with my I. I start first with I love I. I make sure that I go back to my I and I focus every single answer that I have every single day with my I, and I focus on giving it. I focus on different communication skills altogether. I make sure no matter what, they're just focusing on my I. Otherwise, once you understand that it's just the I. I mean, anything in terms of answers or questions that you ever need is I. So go and write everything down now. You have the tool right here that you understand that all you have to do is write all your answers and questions down in the I factor, which is answer everything in your I today. I mean, answer your life with your I. I mean, that's it. I is everything. I mean, how do I make sure I have all the money? I mean, go and write your I down. I mean, understand I first. I first all the time. I is the answer. I then understand to go and create my I first, because I is self-worth. I is much more than plastic money. I is much more than everything. You understand? Because I is the simplification and the diversification of life. And I is the simplification and the crucifixion. Well, I is the crucifixion of life. I is the crucifixion of life as well. I is the simplification and the crucifixion of life. I understand that's how I really lead. I lead with I. I understand I is everything, and that's why Jesus says don't cut your eye out. Understand? I understand that when I start my beautiful videos today, I mean, how do I start my videos today? I say my first word. I welcome you all today. I realize that's how I start. I always start like that. I welcome you all today. I is the first word. I understand that when you guys, or else I can start like that. I see a nice beautiful individual over there. I can start like that with my beautiful sentence. I have a poem to give over here. I can start my beautiful sentence like that. I can start it in any manner. I understand you guys need some teaching today. I understand I can start like that too. I can just start with my I, and then everything else comes along. You understand? I start my sentences with I, and I finish the word and the book of my life with my I. You understand? So that's why I'm always never lacking. You understand? Or else anything else in my life. I understand that's how I really live my life. I live it by understanding my I. I go where the I principle is every single day. I understand that's why I never waste time. I'm always teaching and developing myself on YouTube. So come and check I out every single day. Because I understand that's how I really simplify my methods and get bigger. I get better and stronger. Am I a beggar? I'm not a beggar because I'm an I. Otherwise my beggar is my I. I understand that when I need to overcome something, I overcome my I. I overcome everything. I use my I. I use my I more than everything in life. I understand that's how I really live life. I live it in the moments. I live it in right now, which is I. I live in my I. I have an I statue, which is my life. You understand? I everything. You understand? I understand that when I go and do something greater, I understand that no matter what happens, I understand that either way, I live my life to the fullest. I understand that either way, I give my plans, I give my nice beautiful strategies, I give my something of what I have in terms of my I. And that's everything. I understand that when I go to my I every single day, I understand that's why I go in front of people. I understand that's why I lead. I understand that's why I am always more of what I need to be in terms of my I. I am more in terms of a love of I. I always go and simplify my I and everything because I understand my whole life is I. I thank you very much, boss. I thank you. I worship I all the time. I thank you. I understand every single time I always make sure to go lift myself in my I. I understand that's how I go and lead. I lead with grace. I lead with leadership every single day because I is the answer. I is everything in terms of the blue stars that you see and in terms of the blue galaxy that you see right now. I understand everything else is I. Or else everything else is I. You understand? Or else I is everything. I understand that's how I really go about my life. I understand that's how I really start my sentences in a different manner, but I is how I really talk. Otherwise, I go into my journal, and what's the first word I write? I start with, I write my first word in my journal, I, every single day. I mean, what's the last letter of my life? I mean, what's the first letter of my life? I is the first letter. I mean, what's the last letter of life? I. I is everything. I thank you. I is everything. I mean, what's the most important letter of the alphabet? I. I is the most important. I is the most important. I mean, how does the alphabet start today? I. I. I mean, the alphabet of life starts with I. I thank you. I love you too. I understand. I love you. I understand that it doesn't go A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I say it starts with I. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I is everything. Or is that when people sing the national anthem of God, in terms of Australia, you understand that it's not Australians let us rejoice. I let Australians let us rejoice. Understand? I see no matter what, you must understand that when you're singing something, even in terms of lyrics, or else somebody writes lyrics that has no I in it. I mean, be careful. You understand? Or else that when somebody says this is back, I mean, shade is back, you have to understand that you don't start the nice beautiful lyrics with guess who's back, but guess who's back, yes. Or else that's a question. You understand? Or else you can start a lyrics with a question, you can start with I, and you can start with the you. But understand that you don't start saying, come on to the candy shop. Or, I mean, what's that? I mean, what's come on to the candy shop? I mean, that's no words. I mean, that's ego. I mean, don't sing those words. I mean, don't sing, come on to the candy shop. I mean, what's that? I mean, that's lame. I make sure I say, I come on to the candy shop. I come on to the candy shop because it has meaning now. Or else my eye is there. Or else anything that has no eye, you must never read it. You must never read what has no eye. Because when you read anything that has no eye, you become egotistical. You must understand so that anything that you read, you must read it consciously with the I and the you and the question. You must read consciously. I mean, don't just read without conscious effort. You understand? I mean, don't just speed read to just see the words. I mean, go and see the words and label everything with I. I mean, what's the trend today in Twitter? I mean, it's I. I. I is the answer. I mean, what kind of role model do you want to make? I is a role model that you must make. I mean, what kind of sculpture do you want in life? I is a sculpture that you need. You understand? Because I is the only question. I is the only answer. I is the only statement of life. I is eternity. I is the only abbreviation. I is the only adjective. I is the only full stop. I is the only exclamation mark. I is everything. I is your only comma. I is your only brackets. I mean, any kind of pause you have in life is I. Understand? I mean, have a pause for your I and not for anybody else. You understand? You don't do it for anybody else. You do it for your I. You understand? Because that's how life is lived, through I. You grow through the I daily. You grow yourself and make sure you understand to live with I.